everyone. So usually when I meet people who are just starting off in their spiritual journey, I get asked a lot like how I got started, things that helped me along the way when trying to reach a higher version of myself. I'm in no way a spiritual guru. I am learning things every single day. There are things in my books that I have to go back and read, but one of the essential keys that helped me on my own spiritual journey was reading. I love to read, I love research, I love information. So I'm going to share a few books that I have that have helped me along the way. So the first book I have is the book of chakra healing. Now, if you do not know what chakras are, I will give their textbook definition and then I'll try to explain it the best I can. So it says the yogis have used the chakra system for thousands of years as an integral part of holistic healing, knowing that a person's illness often first manifests itself in the chakras before the body, mind, and emotions. Moreover, they knew that no one would be completely healed if the chakra system continued to be out of balance. So each chakra that we have is linked to a certain part of your body, whether it has to do with your mental health, physical health, emotional health. And when those things are imbalanced and out of whack, it can change us as human beings and not allow us to function on the highest possible level that we can. So this book has helped tremendously. It's actually borrowed from a friend, but I had this actual book and I ended up giving it to my best friend because she was really interested in it too. I like this book a lot because it gives you a breakdown of each chakra. It'll give you the Sanskrit meaning, so the Eastern translation. It'll give you the issue that it deals with in your life, the organ that it's connected to. It'll give you healing tools, that you can use in order to balance the chakra so that you can just improve on yourself as a human being in general. It also gives you the astrological signs associated with it and just really lets you know what each sign is for. I also enjoy it. I'm going to a certain page because it gives you not only the definition but a breakdown of the different chakras and what they can do for you, things you can use to heal them, the goals that you have with the chakra, and it's all essentially linked to who we are as a complete person. So I really love it. And they also include stones you can use, oils you can burn, all that things that are linked to natural healing and ways of healing ourselves. And I also give yoga poses for each one. So I believe I bought mine. I don't know where my friend bought hers, but I believe that I bought mine from a store called Earthbound Exchange, and I'm sure they have it on Amazon too. I've seen a lot of people with this book, so it's pretty popular. So if you would like it, it's by Liz Simpson, the book of chakra healing. The next book I have is linked to my YouTube name, and it's called Awaken Your Indigo Power. And I'll read the back of this one too real quick, just so you guys kind of know what an indigo is and why I call myself Curly Fro Indigo. Curly Fro, obviously, for the hair, like I think I said in my Get to Know Me video, but the generation of indigos, the bright, intuitive, strong-willed children born from the mid-1970s and on, are now adults, and they have 7 empowering lessons to teach. Doreen Virtue, who is the author of this book, I won't really go too depth into her, but she speaks a lot about indigo children, and it says she explains the indigo's group purpose of bringing truth and integrity to our planet and show how this new energy is beneficial to us all. So indigos was a term by Dr. Nancy Ann Tappy in the 1970s, and she was talking about a certain kind of child that was born. They were basically here born for a higher purpose. A lot of the qualities I feel like linked to myself. When I was younger, I did very well in school, but I didn't perform well, if that makes sense. I was always raising my hand, always the first one to be done, always had to be the smartest one in the class, but then I failed like on a social level almost because I was so empath and I was very intuitive. I was even in a special program. It was called Galactic when I was younger, where you kind of test out, they see you have very high skill abilities. So I've always known, like when I was younger, I was very intelligent, but my personality traits and the way that I function in society, sometimes I feel very alone, and I was having trouble finding my purpose. So if you do take the time to go look into what indigo is, a star seed, a rainbow child, they're all just terms at the end of the day, but they really helped me find who I was. So if you are interested in this book, this is what it's called. I got this one from Barnes & Noble. My next book, this is one of my favorites. the law of attraction. I'm sure everybody has heard about it. I did a couple videos talking about it before and how it's affected my life. This is by Esther and Jerry Hicks. I did get this one from Barnes & Noble as well. The law of attraction it's basically what it says. You know, you attract what you bring into your life. You are a deliberate co-creator of your current reality. So anything that happens to us happens for a reason, and most of the time it's because we set some intention that brought it into our lives and how we were speaking to ourselves. So this book gives a definite breakdown of the law of attraction. I know a lot of people may disagree. Some people definitely agree with it, but it's still a good read regardless. You know, if you're trying to make positive things happen in your life, if you're trying to bring about good energy, if you have goals that you want to attain, this book is very, very powerful, and I do suggest that anyone read this, whether you agree with it or not. It's definitely a good book to have. I'm probably never going to give this one up. I might pass it down to my kids. The next one, I think this was actually when I decided to really get into my spiritual journey. This is one of the first books I have. It's kind of like look ratted and torn, but I love it. Awaken, the Buddha Within. So personally, if someone asks me what spirituality, what I practice in particular, I do not have one. I go with the mutual goal that everyone is trying to achieve some level of collective understanding, you know, knowledge of self, and just to create a love and environment for this world, because that's what we need the most right now. But when I was starting, Buddhism was something I was very attracted to because they speak a lot about not having attachments, and that's what a lot of this book is about. This book is, who is this by? Lama Surya Das? I'm guessing if that's how you pronounce it. I hope that's right. But this gives a breakdown of his personal journey on becoming a Buddhist and following the Buddhist way of life. And I think that this is a good book for anyone to follow. You know, there are a million books out there. There's the Quran, there's the Bible. You know, people all have different books that they follow. I feel like most books have essentially the same message, but this book helped me a lot because I have a lot of things that I'm attached to in life, and they all make up my ego. And the ego is not always something negative. It can be something good as well, but it's about having balance of that ego. So if you're interested in learning more about a life of non-attachment, I definitely recommend this book as well. I don't know where I got this from. I probably got this Barnes & Noble too. You would think I would have a Barnes & Noble card buying all these books, but I don't. So there's that one. Last two books. This one, I'm gonna be honest, I go back and forth reading this because Deepak Chopra is a lot. Like a lot. But one of the greatest authors, one of the greatest philosophical thinkers I think there is, Deepak Chopra. I will read the back of it because it's so much information and it's so simple, but it can be very hard to process when you're not used to thinking like this. So this is called The Book of Secrets. It said, we all want to know how to find a soulmate, which career would be most fulfilling, and how to teach our children well. We are looking for a personal breakthrough, a turning point, a revelation that brings with it new meanings. The Book of Secrets, a crystalline distillation of insights and wisdom accumulated over the lifetime of one of the greatest spiritual thinkers of our time, provides an exquisite new tool for achieving just that. In this landmark book, Deepak Chopra has isolated the 15 secrets that change our lives. These include the secrets of perfect love, healing, compassion, and faith. So I'm not going to keep reading, but we all want to achieve balance in our lives, I think, up to some extent. And I think we make life really, really complicated. And he makes it so simple. But when I was reading this book, it was like difficult. I was reading and like, this is right, but like, how do I do it? And I'm like, okay, I'll try. And I felt blocked still, but it's a good book. I feel like this is one of those books you have to keep reading over and over again in order to reprogram your subconscious thought system. But this is why I keep this book, because I go in and out of it a lot. And my last book, a lot of people that I've seen along the way. I love my people who love astrology, and then I'm trying to convince my people who don't love astrology how real it is. So astrology, of course, is linked to the stars and the planets and how it affects our personalities. You know, everyone has an individual birth date. We were all born at a certain time, and certain planets were aligned at that time. It's like DNA. you know, everyone has a different time. So I love this because I found out a lot about myself. Spiritual Astrology by Jan Spiller and Karen McCoy, A Path to Divine Awakening. And this book gives a complete breakdown of who you are. Like, somebody, they read me to filth in this book. It was really, really good because it gives you like a complete breakdown. Now, if you want to see your own birth chart, you can go to Cafe Astrology. You have to have your birth time, your birth date, and where you were born. I think they give it to you even if you don't know the time, but if you know the exact time, it helps a lot. But I don't want to just say, you know, it read me to filth. It really told me about myself. It gives you like things that you are unconscious of in your life and things that you are conscious of in your life. It's crazy. Like, I couldn't believe half the stuff that it said, but it just gives you better knowledge of self so that you can figure out what you need to fix, because there are things in my life I know good and well, like, these are areas I'm wrong in or things that can be changed. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna just be me anyway. But how am I ever gonna evolve as a person if, you know, I don't address those things? So, you know, if you want that, they'll give you like, Cafe Astrology will give you a complete breakdown of each planet, the alignment, you know, it'll tell you more in the book, but this is the last one. Hope they helped. I will post a link to all the books underneath just so you guys can find them. And if you are a reader or researcher, if you're not, you should definitely get into these books because I really think they'll help. They're for people who have trouble really understanding what's going on in the spiritual world or within self. So I hope you guys enjoy.